Winter is coming, and the pieces have started moving. The House of Black and White. You know, I do these reviews pretty much immediately after I watch an episode, so it is very much a first impressions thing. And while I did feel that the last episode, the premiere episode of the season, was good, and I said so, the more time I had to just think about it and how little actually happened in that episode, the more it started to bother me. Thankfully, this episode does have a bit more happening. We pick up with Brienne of Tarth and Podrick, and I'm still loving the pairing of them. I love their chemistry and sort of how they don't really mesh together too well, but they're still going to stick together through thick and thin. We get our first look at Dorne, which is obviously now going to be a fairly major player in the wake of what happened with Oberyn Martell last season and possible fallout from all of that. We get our first look at Oberyn Martell's brother, who is the actual reigning royal in Dorne. And it's hard to get a bead on him. He's obviously in mourning for his brother, but you sort of feel the weight of responsibility on him. Oberyn was very carefree. This guy, not getting that vibe so much. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. He shouldn't be exactly like Oberyn. But I'm just liking the vibe that we're getting off of that. We pick up with Arya, who we did not get to see at all last episode. Now, end of last season, she headed off to find the Faceless Assassins and learn from them. And that is where the titular House of Black and White comes in. And I like how things play out there. I'm more excited for Arya than I think any other character. I just love the possibility of what can go on with her. And we also do see the return of the Faceless Assassin. I would normally consider that a spoiler, but given where she was going, I think we all knew he was going to come back in some capacity. And thankfully, it is the main guy that we saw back in season 2, and it's not the face that he changed to. It's the guy we fell in love with. He is back, baby. I actually found something to like about Daario Naharis. Finally, he has good chemistry with Grey Worm. The two of them, a bit like Brienne of Tarth and Podrick, they just clash really well. Now, obviously not in the same way that Brienne and Podrick clash, but Daario Naharis and Grey Worm, they very much come at things from a different mindset and from a different angle, and I like the way that they feel with each other. We also get Bronn reintroduced, who was actually a character that I wasn't sure was ever going to come back, but I like that he is back. I like what they appear to be doing with him and where he's going to be headed. Cersei also turns around for me slightly on this episode. I got hopeful last episode, then started complaining about her again almost immediately, but I like that she is sort of really taking charge as much as she's able to, considering that she has no official power, although influence out the rear end. So she's really doing some very impressive work, just situating herself with as much power as she can conceivably muster, given the fact that she holds no official power whatsoever. And we're also getting little glimpses of her sort of new best friend. I forget the character's name, but he's the disgraced maester who looked like he was trying to Frankenstein the mountain back at the end of season 4. They haven't picked up on that at all, but the character's hanging around, and there's just a really odd vibe to the guy, and I like just sort of the hints of what might be happening with him. We pretty much just get one scene of Tyrion and Varys. It's basically just a touching base scene. This is where they are, reminder, here's where they're going. But it's a fun scene, and again, I really like their chemistry, so I was fine with that. All this stuff said, and while it's all good and it's pushing things forward in a good direction, there are two areas that feel like they're spinning wheels a little bit more. One is up in the north, and to be fair, there is stuff that is happening up there with the Night's Watch and with Stannis and with all of that, but it feels very... Well, it sort of comes back to what I used to complain about Jon Snow before. It's very predictable in terms of where he has been headed, where he's heading, and it feels like an obligatory step. For me, it didn't have the ceremony that maybe it should have, just because it's something that I've seen coming for years now. But although hopefully with that out of the way, things will push forward a little bit more. Where things are really just wheel spinning at this point is in Meereen with Daenerys. And she is very much in this, man, it's hard, it's easy to be a conqueror, it's hard to be a ruler thing. And while, as I said when I talked about last season, I really liked that for last season, I don't like that she seems to now be stuck in a cycle where they're just hitting the same notes and reinforcing the same difficulties that she's facing. And I just hope it's not an indicator for what she's going to be dealing with all season. I really hope she's not going to be stuck in Meereen all season, because I don't care about Meereen. So I guess it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I consider it a good step forward because it has more momentum, it has more inertia than the last episode did. And on that basis alone, I'm definitely excited for the next episode. Why wouldn't I be? You know, I talked about some of the pairings that are happening this season or have happened recently that I like. So let me ask you this. Who's sort of your favorite banter pairing? You know, some great ones, Tyrion and Bronn, Tyrion and Varys now, Arya and the Hound when they were going together. What's your favorite sort of double act, little duo that this show has given us so far? Whatever it is, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Until next time, this council is adjourned.